Welcome back to the shop. All right, we are preparing to go to an event called Sick Week. If you haven't heard of Sick Week, you may be living under a rock if you're a hot rodder. Sick Week is an event, a 5-day, 5 tracks, drag and drive event put on by Tom Bailey. Pretty sure he's the world's fastest drag and drive event drag racer with a 5-second street-driven Camaro. There's cars from all over the spectrum joining in on this event. Anything from a daily driver to pretty much a pro mod that drives on the street, like Bailey's. We are participating in the event, but we are not racing. We're participating in a section of the race or event called the Sick Ward. I was not able to get all of my parts together with all the slowdowns on shipping and just everything going on with the world right now. I just wasn't able to get this thing built in time. I bought this car back in June, 65 El Camino. It has a stock 283 and a Power Glide in it. Still has a stock rear end in it. We have done some projects on it if you've been watching along on the channel. If not, you can go back and check them out. I believe they're in a playlist, the 65 El Camino playlist. We've done tubular control arms in the front. We did Viking double adjustable coilover shocks in the front. We put the 15x4 American racing wheels on the front, the torque thrusts. I like the skinnies in the front. We have bought a Quick Performance Fab 9 differential rear end housing, 40 spline axles, 370 gear with a spool, and Willwood rear brakes for this thing. We have not put that together. I didn't have time to put that together, and I was pretty sure I was going to have a drive shaft made up or have this one cut down, and I really don't want to run the stock drive shaft. I don't know if I'm going to do a carbon deal or what. I may do just a mild steel or a chromoly, but I haven't decided yet. I plan on eventually throwing some serious power at this thing. It'll be a little while, but we're getting ready. We're living in North Georgia. So from here to Bradenton, Florida, that's where we start in Bradenton, Florida. It's about an 8 to 9 hour drive. It's roughly 500 miles, I believe. So I'm gonna drive this thing down there. We're gonna go from Bradenton, Florida. We're gonna start racing. I'm gonna drive down Saturday, the 5th. We're going to have registration Sunday at the track, and then next door at the Freedom Factory at Cletus McFarland's Freedom Factory, we're going to have a pregame party. Monday the 7th, they'll start racing, and I believe we get done racing at Bradenton at 3 o'clock. You can make your passes and hit the road. You go on to the next track. So we're going to go from Bradenton to Orlando. We're going to race, we're going to spend the night and race the next day in Orlando, which is be Tuesday. Then we'll leave Orlando and go to Gainesville. We'll race Gainesville Wednesday. We'll leave Gainesville and go to South Georgia Motorsport Park in Valdosta, Georgia. We'll race there on Thursday, and then we'll leave there and go to Ocala. We're going to spend the night in Ocala and go to Don Garlick's Drag Race Museum. We've got a full run of the place, and then Friday we'll get up and drive back to Bradenton, Florida. We'll have the finals in Bradenton, and then we'll have a ceremony afterwards. They're giving away something. I don't know. They're doing some sort of a raffle. So being in the Sick Ward like I am, since I'm not racing, I'm following along the route that all the racers are going on. It's basically like a hot rod power tour in the middle of a hot rod drag week, kind of. They're going to feed us a couple times. We get to go into the Don Garlick's Museum. I think we get a couple shirts. There's some perks other than just entering. I could just go down and pay like 20 or 30. Before we dive into that, I just want to touch base. This car right here is a bone stock car, basically, with a little bit of front end work done to it. I have no idea how long this engine's been in here, the transmission's been in here. It shifts really firm. It does burn a little oil. It's been crudely painted, and it's just, I don't know anything about this engine other than I've owned it for 6 months, and I've been told it was a 283. It doesn't have much power, but it does go down the road pretty good. Eventually this car will be similar to my old race car that I sold about 4 years ago. I wish I would have never sold this car. It's my 85 Camaro. It was a 408 small block Chevrolet. It had a Glide in it, reed case, small tire, kind of like an ultra street setup back then. It was just a plate. Used to play around in the class that was small block only with a plate nitrous kit. That's all you could have. You couldn't have any turbos or superchargers back then. And my kids started coming along, and I had 2 boys back to back, and one in 2010 and one in 2012. And it kind of put a big damper on my racing program. That, we had some problems with my back and business and so forth. But so I sold all that stuff to support my family, and now we're kind of in the position now where we can start building back some of the race car stuff, and my sons are starting to show a little interest in it, and enjoying going to the drag strip with me and watching. So I want to build this thing up, get them involved, and just keep it very street strip able, so we can cruise to the car shows on the weekends and then drive it to the local drag strips and do the drag and drive stuff, maybe the hot rod power tour and things of that nature. The engine is pretty crusty little small block. I mean, it does fire right up, runs just fine, but look at the spark plugs in this thing. Look like they've been in here for 20 years. I mean, who knows? I've never even pulled one out to look at it. Plug wires are all jacked up. That looks like an aftermarket HEI. Usually the cheapos have the red cap. So I got some tune-up stuff for this thing. I'm thinking about buying another alternator and taking with me. That thing was charging really high the other day. I may even throw a water pump in for the ride, just because this thing's, I don't know, we're about to put 2,500 miles at minimum on this thing in about a week's time. It's quite a lot of miles for something this old. So I've got a distributor cap, a module, a coil. I'm going to build a custom set of plug wires for it. I'm going to change the plugs. I'm going to pull the valve covers and change the gaskets. They leak just a little bit, not enough to really to worry about. I could probably leave them alone, but I thought about just go ahead and pull them off. I might even shoot a little paint on those old valve covers. I don't know why, but so plugs, wires, cap, rotor, coil, module. So we'll have all the tune-up stuff will be new. Fuel filter's new. I put this fuel line on. The fuel line that was on it when I got it was pretty rough. I went ahead and put some heat shield on it where it goes down. It's got the stock style fuel pump down there. I've got a fuel system for it. This is a brand new carburetor. When I had my speed shop, I had this left over. I think I put it on a customer's car, and we ended up upgrading and putting a bigger carburetor on it. It might even been that Trans Am over there years ago, and never ran this thing. This thing's never, I think it ran like once. So I got a little nitrous kit still. I got a fuel system that's brand new for the car. Got a Magna Fuel. I got all new fuel line. This was going to be added on to my Camaro, and I never used it. So I've got a brand new cell. I don't know if I'll need that or not. I could use that for just race gas and run a double system if I needed to, and just have that small gallon. I think that's a 5 gallon, or maybe even be 2.5 gallons, so I can't remember. but if I'm doing turbo, I probably won't need that unless I do like methanol or something. Do a small tank of methanol for the track and switch it back and forth. So I'm thinking about doing that. I'd like to go with Fuel Tech system. Maybe you know, convert the thing over to fuel injection and not do carbureted, but I won't be able to afford that right off the bat. It's a little bit expensive, but I thought about having this intake plumbed with injectors and clean that thing up and run a throttle body on the top and just run a Fuel Tech deal like that. We'll see. I know some of those guys over at Fuel Tech, so I'll talk to them about it. My old buddy Steve Petty's a major player over there, so I'm going to talk to him and see what he thinks about running that kind of system on what I'm doing. I don't know anything about fuel injection outside of the stock car type stuff. Not stock car racing, but like stock automobiles, you know, like regular everyday driver stuff. I've been repairing that stuff forever, but the aftermarket hot rod fuel injection stuff I've never gotten into. I've always done carbureted stuff, so I could do a blow through carburetor with this deal. I could convert that to a blow through, and it's a 750, I'm pretty sure. I can look the numbers up on it. But I mean, you can make with turbos on methanol, you can make a ton of power just with a 750. I mean, look at Billy the Kid on the Street Race Channel network. That's all he's running on his little S10 is a 750. It's a pretty nice setup. I mean, it's not a cheap carburetor like that little quick fuel, but it's makes a pretty good amount of power. But I'd like to have the ability to have the data from the Fuel Tech stuff and the tunability, and you know, I know some guys over there, so I might even be able to get a tune-up out of somebody or show me how to tune the damn thing. I don't know. So that's my thoughts for this deal. But for now, we just need to get this thing reliable enough to make it about 2,500 miles. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine on that trip. I mean, it's not like I'm making any power. I just have to have a reliable vehicle that will tote my camping gear. I thought about throwing a toolbox back here, like a truck bed, but I bet a regular one's going to stick way up and look silly. I thought about putting one of those cargo containers like off the top of a minivan or something in the back and bolting it to the floor. That way, something that's lockable, so I can throw all my gear in there and have it lock and be weatherproof in case we get any, you know, rain. Which, hell, we're going to Florida. It's probably going to rain on us. That panel right there, I've been told, opens up and there's a floor under it. There's a compartment under it. So I may, before I buy a cargo box, I may take the screws out of this and see if this pops up and see if I've got trunk space. And another thing I've got to do, I've got to strengthen my torque boxes in the back. Got to get better control arms in the back. I got to get coilovers for the back. I'm assuming I'll just go with Vikings again in the back since I did that in the front. I don't have any complaints out of them in the front, although I've just been riding around with them with a stock engine in it, so I don't know how well they work on the track yet. I've been told they work really well, and we're going to probably give those a full shot. Also, I need to talk to my buddies over at RK Racecraft, see if they're able, I know they're able, but if they would have time in the near future to put a cage in this thing. We've got to do, I want to do a cage that I don't have to go out the back window. I don't want bars coming out of the glass. Typically you'll have a, you know, standard cage and you'll have your down bars coming through the glass on a ride like this. I don't want that. I want the bars coming out of here. I want a crossbar behind the seat, and I want those down bars coming from here. And I'm pretty sure you can do that, but from what I read in the rule books, and I'm not a chassis guy, so I really don't know, but I read that in order to do that, you've got to pretty much 25.3 it, 25.3 chassis cert it. So there'd be quite a lot of bars in there in a funny car cage. I really don't want to funny car cage it. I want to leave, I was really wanting to leave the bench seat in it, or some sort of a bench seat in it. So we can kind of put around town still in it, and I can put both my boys in it, or, you know, we still fit 3 up in it. That's my plan. I don't know if we can pull that off with the way the chassis is going to have to be, but I don't really plan on going any faster than 850 with this thing. So as long as we can 850 chassis cert it, that'd be good to go. That's faster than I've ever been, and really as fast as I want to go with a full street car. And then, you know, maybe we'll build us another car one day that's 750 certed, or, you know, faster than that. Who knows? I don't know. I may be perfectly content with just playing with this, but hell, I'm a gearhead. I'm always dreaming of race cars and how to go faster. Well, those are my thoughts, and that's my preparation plans so far for Sick Week. Follow along. Probably be dropping a video about every day leading up till, I probably won't drop any while I'm in Florida, but I may do some shorts from down there with my phone, and then collect footage while we're on the trip, and do some videos when I get back with all the footage that I gather along the route and along the race days. It's going to be a load of fun. There's going to be a lot of cool people there. A lot of big YouTube guys, you know, that you're going to recognize. I know if you follow any of this stuff, you know all the big names that are already going to be the Cletus McFarlands and all those kind of folks down there, Vice Grip Garage, and a lot of those big timers. So help me along. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Follow along on this deal. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a great adventure, and we're going to have a blast. Hope you ride along with us. Peace.